Hello, students, and welcome to another benchmark. In this benchmark, we are going to learn about some British policies that led to the writing of the Declaration of Independence. So the benchmark reads like this. It says, describe how English policies and responses to colonial concerns led to the writing of the Declaration of Independence. So in this benchmark, we are going to learn about events that took place that led to the American Revolution. This is the war in which the 13 colonies fought the British government and won independence from Great Britain. And one thing that's important for us to remember here is that if you're willing to fight in a war and you're literally risking your life in this fight, then the reasons for you fighting must be very good, right? So we're going to learn some of those reasons, and we're going to learn the things that the British government was doing to the colonists that angered them enough to want to fight a war for independence. So what you're going to need to know is the basic details of each of these events that angered the colonists and how the colonists responded to those events. So the events that we're talking about here are as follows. We're going to start off talking about the French and Indian War. Then we're going to go into the Stamp Act, then the Quartering Act. After we talk about the Quartering Act, we're going to talk about the Townshend Act. Then we're going to talk about the Boston Massacre. After the Boston Massacre, we're going to talk about the Tea Act, then the Boston Tea Party, and then we're going to talk about the Intolerable Acts. As well, we do need to be familiar, very familiar, because it is very important, the term taxation without representation. So you need to know what that term, taxation without representation, means. Okay, so for an example, the first act that we're going to talk about, or the first event that we're going to talk about, is the Stamp Act. And the Stamp Act was a tax that was issued on all paper goods in the colonies. So playing cards, newspapers, invitations, contracts, whatever, anything that was printed on paper was taxed, and that money was given to the British government in order to pay the expenses that they incurred during the French and Indian War, which we'll learn about. So this was the Stamp Act was a tax on all paper goods, and in response to this act, the colonists decided that they were going to boycott or just stop buying British goods. So the colonial response to the Stamp Act was a boycott. So you're going to need to know these same things for each of these events. What was the event or the act? And then how did the colonists react to that event or act? That's what we're going to be focused on in this benchmark. Okay, so thank you for watching, and make sure that you ask questions if you are at all confused about anything. Remember, I'm always here to answer your questions. I do not want you to be confused, and I'd rather have you ask questions before you are confused about anything. All right, thank you very much.